G'day everyone, welcome back to the Absolutely Unnecessary podcast. Back with Simon. We've freshly returned from Las Vegas and we are ready to get back into it and be consistent with our podcasts.
Yeah, let's hope we can do that. And I suppose congratulations to you, Jack, on your performance on Contender.
Thank you.
Happy to see you get it done. And
yeah, it was good. It was a bit of a nervous wait out the back. I thought I hadn't done enough to get the contract, but you thought I had, and yeah, I think looking back, I definitely did enough. So
I think also they're pretty well. Dana might say stuff on the camera, but they're going to be pretty well briefed on your previous performances. And although you didn't get to show as much as striking this time, you had all your previous stuff. So
yeah,
I think that's obviously what got communicated to him. So I was pretty confident that they knew you could strike from previous fights. So
yeah, and it was going to be enough. Yeah, pretty wild experience. Anyway, we'll come back to that later. But why don't we first talk about the guys who fought in Thailand before I fought? So we had Joey had a fight in Thailand.
Yeah, so Joey just jumped in on a local stadium and got done sort of against a Thai boxing veteran. Actually, the guy's like 3-1, I think, in MMA. But yeah, he's probably had better days, respectfully.
Yeah.
I mean, Joey was prepared to fight anyone, but it was whoever he could get.
Yeah. Yeah, nice.
And Lisa fought on the Fairtex promotion.
At Lumpini.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a good experience, and she managed to get the win there as well in quite a close fight. So,
good.
Yeah, that was good.
Bit of a different experience for Lisa, like first time she's done
sort
of without you in the corner. Would it be her first fight ever without you in the corner?
I think once I very selfishly had to get emergency surgery for staph and missed out.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
right.
Yeah, she was like, I still remember that. Like, I'm going in for surgery. She's like, but who's going to hold pads in the warm-up? Yeah. Thank you for your...
That's absolutely no shock.
Yeah. Still remember that.
Shit.
And I'm like, yeah, they're chopping off parts of my leg. I don't know how much yet, you know.
That's
just
wild.
like, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Anyway.
And then we had Eternal. We had Jasper.
Yep.
And Jasper fought really well.
Yep. Dominant performance. He was fighting a guy that was sort of heavy-handed but used his grappling really well. Like, you know, he actually did well. I think he was winning all the striking exchanges as well, but managed to time his shots and get it down and not take any damage at all to his pretty face. So.
Yeah. Jasper's one of those weird ones, isn't he? Because he's quite athletic, he's quite intelligent and can follow instructions.
Yep.
But he's intelligent enough that he just makes a living in the regular world. Like he doesn't need to fight. Like he's got a good job. And it's one of those ones where it's like, oh, if you put a bit more in, you'd get a bit more out of it. And it's like, why would I do that?
Yeah. Look, he's like a really skilled hobbyist. You know? So he's got like a master's in engineering and runs his own consulting firm. So I think what he does is the best. Like, you know, I don't think fighting's the best thing for him. Like, you know, and he's now 30 years old, I think now, or getting close to that sort of age. So he only trains 2 or 3 times a week, sort of thing.
Exactly. So. That's what I mean. Like bang for his buck in terms of how good he is for how much he trains. It's outrageous.
Yeah. No. He's like, he sort of hangs with a lot of the guys that do it full time, but he doesn't. So, but I think, it would take you'd have to basically get probably top 10 in the UFC to get close to
a financial reward that he 100%.
And then it's not as long as what he currently does anyway, so it doesn't really make sense for him to
and it's hard, without disrespecting his profession, it's harder.
What's that, sorry?
It's harder to do. Like
it's different.
Yeah.
It's
definitely more of a grind to get any financial reward from it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, some people also say it's a grind for fighters, but I also think sometimes sitting behind a desk for 9 hours a day is a grind. And a lot of the fighters, they go, this is hard. I mean this respectfully to you guys who do it full time.
I agree,
sometimes
100%. Like I 100%, sometimes I'll be doing something within my training. Like I'll say, I did this yesterday and this today, and then I've got to do this tomorrow. And some of my friends will be like, that's fucked. Like I could never do something like that. And then on the same conversation, they'll say, I got up at 6 a.m. and worked till 4, 6 a.m. till 4, 6 a.m. till 4 tomorrow. And I'll go, that's fucked. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Like I consider that harder than what I do now. It's just what you're suited to, I suppose.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's different for everyone.
And then Sem fought that night too.
Yeah, so Sem lost a decision. Thought he was a little bit stiff. I thought he should have got a draw.
So you can look at it any way, but the way I looked at it is if that round isn't a 10-8,
yeah, the first
round isn't a 10-8, how do you score a 10-8? That's just what I would want to. My question to those judges would be, what more would you have want to seen for a 10-8? Did he need one more knockdown?
Yeah.
Did he need,
another knockdown, the fight would have had to have been stopped at that stage.
Yeah. But, so tough one.
And look, and Colby, so tough.
Yeah.
Like,
and fit.
Yeah. Like, the way he came back in the second round, like Colby dominated the second round. I would have actually probably understood 2 10-8 first and second rounds the other way more than a 2 10-9s.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because he was so dominant in the second.
Yeah, look, he was. I don't think it was probably you definitely couldn't give the second round a 10-8 if you didn't give the first. But he got some dominant positions, was on Sem's back for a lot of time. So I would have even understood that probably more than how it did get scored. But anyway, it is what it is. And the last round was very close. Like I kind of went to the going, he's either drawn or won.
Right.
And then when it was a unanimous, I was like, I think we got it. And then I was like, oh. But, it is what, everyone watches it differently. But
yeah,
I don't know on the 10-8 stuff. Like I don't think universally 10-8 rounds are given out enough, probably.
Yeah, not at all. They're not understood enough, and it's.
But did you come close when you drop someone 3 times or two and a wonky legs?
Yeah.
And probably 50 odd significant strikes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, what else can you do?
Yeah.
But anyway,
as I say, all respect to Colby's fight back was epic, and
unreal,
such a tough kid, and
so good, such a good fight for both of them.
Yeah.
And it can kind of be a pillar for both of them moving forward as to, Sem can probably address some things that
I think
mistakes he made, and really,
in the fight and in the camp.
Yeah.
Like being honest with Sem, and I've talked to him, and he's honest enough with himself to go, yep, probably. Colby was a lot fitter than Sem was.
Yeah, and we've all been there too. Like, we've all had, even you hear someone like Volko talk about it, like he's had times where he's gone in and his weight cut has hurt him because he didn't do the right things.
Yeah.
All that sort of thing. You come up and you push your body so hard a lot of the time. Sometimes in that infancy of your career, you can sort of go, oh, maybe I can sort of blur the lines a little bit here and push back a little bit here. And yeah, obviously.
You always pay.
You always pay for it in some respect, don't you? But yeah, good fight. And, Sem's back in the gym.
Yeah.
He was back in the gym the next day, I'm sure. He's that's what he's always like, whether he wins or loses. And he'll back it up on Hex.
Yeah. Yep. So he's got Ernie Bracker, who's quite a good veteran. So, probably, I think he's 4-4 on the record, but having fought on PXC and whatever else. One fight he was about to win and got disqualified with an illegal soccer kick. But I think that would have been 5-3, and he's lost 2 splits. So
right.
So he could very be 7-1.
And what's Sem now? 5-1 or 4-1?
4-1.
4-1. Right.
Yeah,
and then we've got so speaking of Hex, we've got Sem fighting on that. We've also got Lisa.
Yes.
Are all the guys fighting guys from Southeast Asia? Is that right? Hex are bringing in sort of a contingent similar to how they did with the Koreans and they have done in the past. They're bringing in a bit of a contingent.
Yeah, because I think Sean Gouch, he's also got from Dominance, has got one of the fellows as well. There might even be some others outside. I know of 5 on the card, but there might be a few more.
Right.
So you've got Raja fighting Rex de Lima.
For the Hex title.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome. So good for Raja to get back in there. He's had his, trials and tribulations to be able to get back in there and, COVID and, he's had some opportunities taken away from him and sometimes he's had taken away opportunities from himself with not being ready for certain things as, it's hard to stay ready all the time. But he is such a core part of our team
100%.
From a fight team point and a leadership point. So for him to get back in there, we're all so excited, and I think he's got the best striking I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, I've gone with a lot of high level guys like who are specialist strikers, boxers, and everything. And I can comfortably say I think Raj is the best striker I've ever gone with. I hope that this fight we get to see that, and then going forward he gets to show it at a high level.
Yeah, I mean he when you talk about return for effort, I mean like
value for effort. Like
he's still extremely good. And if you are listening to this part, Raj, you don't work as hard as some others do. He's blessed with very natural abilities with his striking.
Yeah. He's working now though. Like he's been out hitting pads with Andy twice this week already.
Yep.
We went out Monday and then he went out by himself Wednesday. I got put forward to get a fucking little Mazda from Essendon Mazda, and I got fucking beaten out. I was in the final two and I got beaten out by a food blogger. What a fucking joke. Well, shit happens.
Fuck. They'll be regretting that now. You got your blue tick on your Instagram.
Yeah, I know.
Which you got 30 seconds after you finished your fight.
It came real quick, didn't it? Yeah. I may have applied for it. I may have preemptively applied for it. I might have sent a bit of documentation into Meta prior to actually stepping into the cage. But that's just how confident I was.
Yeah, I forgot to get a cup that works, but...
hey, man, my cup broke.
What happened with that?
So the cup, it has two strings that go around my thighs that keep it like down, and then it has a string that goes around your waist to keep it up. Right, so it sits right where it's supposed to sit. And somewhere in the second round, in some kind of movement we did, it snapped. The part that went around the top. So I'm standing there, and every like step I take forward and back, I can feel it just sliding down further and further to the point where it's just sitting like in my shorts. My cup's just being sat in my shorts, and I'm like to the ref, I'm looking at Freddie, because I'm like, protect yourself at all times. I'm like, ref, my cup's falling out. And he's like, what? And I'm like, my cup, it's falling out. And he's like, time. And then he goes over to the corner, and I didn't see this, but apparently Simon and Andy were like, you go. And Simon's like, no, fucking you go. And Andy's like, no idea. And Andy's like, oh, fuck, I'll go.
Yeah. And then it only came down to because Andy was standing closer to the cage.
And Simon like pushed him up there.
You're closer.
And then I went over, and I wasn't even fucking thinking that we're on ESPN, we're live, and I just like dacked myself, and the ref's like, put your pants back on.
Yeah,
pull your pants up, and I'm like,
he did get a bit carried away. It's not like you were free.
Yeah, I had underwear on.
Yeah,
and then they bring out this towel, and this towel is no joke. Like
it's a serviette. It's a serviette.
It's a face washer. Like it's tiny.
And you're like, bring me a beach towel. That's what I need.
And anyway, Andy just like Jimmy rigs it and like wraps the string back around, but doesn't actually connect it back to the cup. So it kind of stayed up for about 30 seconds, and then I went to the ground and I didn't even notice. But yeah, it was. When I walked out of the cage, like I grabbed it and I was walking past Chaz and I pulled my cup out the bottom of my shorts and I was like, look at this. Like it was fucking falling out. But yeah, no, the MMA fight store, because I went into the fight store and bought that like a couple of weeks before I left. And I wore it a couple of times in training to make sure it worked. And the MMA fight store hit me up. They're like, hey, mate, we've got a bag of stuff for you with some cups and some shorts and shit like that. Come and pick it up. Like, and I was like, oh, fuck, you didn't have to do that, but thanks.
Yeah, fuck. Well, so we got that covers. Oh, we got Josh Grove on Hex as well too.
Yeah, Josh.
Lisa on. Look, to be honest, can't go into lots of details about her opponent. I think sort of like a rangy striker. Had her by as a wrestler. I've only found sort of two of her fights, which weren't too long online, so I don't know a lot about her. Then you've got Josh, Raja, and then Sam.
So let's game this one out. Lisa wins this fight. She improves to 4-1.
5-1.
She improves to 5-1. What's next?
Well, I think Chelsea Hackett.
Chelsea Hackett for eternal title.
Well, I don't know where that fight will be, to be honest. Like, I think Hex want to put it on.
Oh, Hex want to put it on.
I think Beatdown would be an option. So, I don't know.
Rogue.
Yeah. Well, actually, come to think about it, yeah.
Yeah,
Rogue, yeah. I know the
matchmaker.
Yeah. Not a very good promoter.
Yeah.
at all. Hadn't even thought about the but yeah, look, any one of those locations. So
go where the money is, hey?
yeah. So it won't be Rogue.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So it'll be like dependent on that sort of where we can get a deal done, I suppose. But, I think there's not really actually if you go to the female rankings because they're all pound. Actually, do you want to bring up the female Tapology rank? I think Lisa's 4, Chelsea's 2, but the other girls are in different weight classes because you can't even on Tapology you can't sort the females by weight category. It's all pound for pound
because there's not enough of them.
And it's amateur and pro together.
Right. How do you even get to the girls?
So go to.
Am I out of the pound for pound rankings yet? Am I in the worldwide rankings?
So go to weight class, Josh. What is that? And then you'll scroll.
Oh, women.
Yep. And then search. So I mean that's outrageous. Number 1 is a 1-0.
Yeah. What?
Actually, Jacinta's gone to 2. Lisa 3. Sorry. Jacinta, I don't think will come back to flyweight. She sort of seems stuck at strawweight.
Lower. That's lower, isn't it? 115.
Yeah. And then you got Lisa.
Sarah.
Yeah, obviously Sarah. So you got like a mixture of straw to bantamweight, and in that's huge differences. In size.
6th rank is 0-1.
Yeah, big amateur record, but it's really strange because the amateur records in the male category don't seem to count.
No, they don't count at all.
They don't count at all, whereas they do in the female.
Yeah, they must have to Jimmy rig it a little bit.
Because I think Michelle Montague might be a featherweight too.
Okay. She from New Zealand. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she won IMAFA Worlds.
Wow.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Oh, she's in PFL.
Yeah. Oh, maybe she lost in the final. Yeah, pretty good. Look at that, 11-1 amateur record.
Really good amateur record, hey.
Yeah. If you go back, actually, come to think of it, because I was just trying to think, where's Annie Thatcher? Because she's pretty good. Oh, there's 7. Yeah, I was going to say how, because she was like 6-0, 7-0, amateur as well. But yeah, it's really hard trying to find the girls' fights. It's
why those girls, the amateur flyweights at the moment, there's like 4 or 5 of them who've all just been doing like a round robin.
Yeah.
And it's so lucky that they've all got each other.
Oh,
and they're
even
all training at the same time.
Like Lisa and she fought Ailish 3 times or 4 times.
Yeah.
And then she fought Courtney 3 times. Lisa's had 15 fights, but she's had 6 opponents or something.
Yeah.
It's like if you have a look, it goes like Courtney, Ailish, Courtney. She's had Emily Hammer, then it goes Ailish, and then you go back up, and then it's Ailish again and Courtney again, and it's like you couldn't that would never happen with the guys.
Never. No need.
Anyway, we actually bring up the featherweight rankings. Let's see if you've disappeared off the local rankings. No.
Oh, they've got me at number 2 behind the lockjaw. I'm going to email them. I'm not a local scene anymore. Get me off. Oh, fuck.
How far? Where's Khan gone? That is Khan's. Why the fuck has Khan slipped to 9?
That just makes no sense.
What's it based off? Activity? Recent activity?
But
Khan's last opponent was an ex-Bellator guy that's actually really good, JJ Gier, that he fought over in Europe. And then
fucking hell.
he was obviously going to fight Van Heeden for the title. Van Heeden pulls out 6 days injured, gets rematched versus Diego. Anyway.
That's outrageous.
Yeah.
And but if it's on activity, look at Ricky. Ricky hasn't fought.
Once since 2021. Yeah,
he's fought 3 times since 2018.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I sometimes don't get the rankings.
It's off an algorithm. No one's sitting there choosing what happens. It's off an algorithm they do.
Yeah.
I read how they work it out once. It's wins, and then they value how you win, and then it's based on you get your points double if somebody's in the top 10, and you've beaten them and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So,
I wonder what fights outside your region do.
mm.
And I mean it respectfully to Sam, but how is Khan and Sam back?
Same rank.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway,
there you
all
go.
right. Let's go into our fight breakdown. Islam versus Charles. So we've got the big UFC event. We'll do a proper breakdown of the whole event, but let's just go into a bit more nitty-gritty detail about Charles versus Islam. And for the vacant lightweight title,
Oh, I was like,
Charles got stripped.
because of the weight.
Yeah, I wonder if he's getting paid like the champ or not.
They could probably get away with not doing it though. I mean, actually, no, you're a company man now, so of course he'll be getting paid properly. That they're a
No.
fantastic
But I mean, like whether he gets his pay.
pay-per-view points
He
and
lost.
stuff.
You get your contract's different if you're champ or not, and technically he's not champ. I just wonder if he's
Jeez,
getting
it'd be rough
be real rough, wouldn't it?
because he only missed it was a minute miss, and
Minute miss, and they reckon that the scale out the back said he was on, which
Yeah.
is the problem.
Yeah,
See, when I weighed in on the official scale, I was 146 exactly,
yeah,
and when I weighed in on the scale downstairs, I was 145 and a half.
yeah. That's an issue.
Mm.
Yeah, massive issue.
All right, so
So-
breakdown here. I'm going to go out straight at the start and say I think Charles wins.
Yeah,
What do
well,
you think?
It'd be great for the show for us to debate it, but I'm kind of in agreement. So
Josh,
Islam.
Islam. All right, why?
He'll just wrestle. Fuck him.
Okay. That's about the opinion I would expect from you. And,
Yeah.
and,
Any
the,
more
depth,
to
and the
do-
depth of analysis as well, I would
Yeah.
expect. Lucky you're behind the camera. Here's how I see it playing out. I think that Islam has never fought anyone with the grappling credentials that Charles has. Charles has the most submissions in the history of the UFC. Is that correct?
yeah, I believe so. Definitely
Most submissions in the history of the UFC. And he's submitting legitimate high-level other wrestlers and black belts.
like even like Gaethje, like Poirier. These guys are good.
Poirier, Chandler,
Poirier.
Ferguson.
Yeah,
And then Guillotine, Kevin Lee. Keep going down. Anaconda choke versus Tamer. Rear naked choke versus Jim Miller. You know, he's so good at what he does. What I think will happen in this fight is I think Charles wins the exchanges on the feet. I think Islam shoots and he might get there. But on the way down, he's going to put his head in trouble. Charles will try and grab something. And when he's on the ground, Charles is going to be real aggressive with throwing up submissions.
Yep.
Islam, not being used to that, is going to maybe try and bite down a little bit harder and not get off as much damage. And then when it gets back to the feet, he's going to be more tired,
yeah.
where I think Charles will take over.
Has Islam been pushed like distance wise? No, he went to a fourth round against Thiago Moses. She's a lot of quick finishes. Yeah, obviously, I think he's got the ability to put Charles on his back, but I think Charles is pretty good at grabbing the neck and then either getting a submission or using that threat to get back up or on top.
And
also.
5 rounds, I think that favours Charles.
Yeah, 100%. The wrestling heavy game, it's energy draining.
Well, even if
The
you look
most-
like for me, I was probably more fit for my last fight, the one I just had, than I was for the Rod fight.
Yeah,
And in the Rod fight, I wasn't forced to grapple a lot.
yeah,
So I went 5 rounds really easily and I was barely breathing at the end.
yeah.
You know what I mean? This fight was 3 rounds. I still dominated in a similar fashion, but it was so tiring.
Yeah.
Like it was very gassy. And there's other factors you can play into that, like an adrenaline dump and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But the wrestle heavy game is undoubtedly more draining
Yeah.
and harder to do over a longer period of time.
Yeah, for sure. And if you're fatigued, it's fatiguing on the other guy too. But I think Charles is good enough to also be able to take breaks, conserve
Conserve a little bit when he needs to.
Yeah,
Whereas if you're holding someone down and putting that pressure on, it's hard to conserve any. You sort of have to maintain an output. Whereas on the bottom, you can afford to take breaks.
Yeah, if you're getting like posture, like controlling and framing and whatever else you can. Yeah, a little bit. So anyway,
yeah, that's how I see that fight going anyway.
I'm pretty much aligned that. Yeah,
you agree?
Yeah, I think so.
How does he get it done? Submission, you reckon?
No, I think he finishes him. I think he clips him, drops him with something. Maybe, yeah. Like, I think maybe he'll hit him with something and then get to his back or something like that. But I don't think I don't think he gets it done in a pure grappling exchange. I think he threatens enough to get back to his feet and then cracks him somewhere.
Yeah, I don't necessarily see him getting bar or triangle.
Yeah.
Maybe a guillotine.
Yeah. TJ versus Aljo.
Yep.
I'm TJ. Like,
So am I.
I just think TJ wins.
But I was pretty on Yarn, I'll be honest, in the last one too. Like,
yeah.
I think Dillashaw is a better grappler than Yarn, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and I think stylistically, Yarn holds his hands high. He's a little more flat-footed, and he walks forward, which is, if somebody's trying to double leg you, much easier to do to him than TJ, who's going to be bouncing southpaw orthodox, giving him those different looks. So I just think stylistically this sits into TJ's hands. And I couldn't believe the odds. TJ's paying $350.
Are you serious?
Well, when I checked a week ago, he was paying $350 to win.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I
would have had it like $1.90. Like if you're an odds maker, because there's a few unknowns with TJ, but.
Well, yeah, I suppose his inactivity over a period of time.
Okay.
I think we just went. Did we go past it?
Oh, 235 now.
Yeah, he should have got on that 320.
Yeah, he's come in a lot. He opened it. Maybe it was a boosted odds or something.
So actually, on the Makachev Oliveira, who, if one of them is, for example, to get injured and Volko steps in.
Yeah, cool, because Volko's first reserve.
Yeah.
We had this conversation briefly when we were over in Vegas. Who does Volko have a better stylistic matchup against? Is that the question you're asking? I think probably Charles.
Yeah, that's even though I'm like, we're unanimous on Charles, I just think the size and
I
the
think
wrestling.
The manner in which you can win. That's how you always have to look at it from like an analytical point of view. Is like, if it's Islam versus Volko, how does Volko win? And it's a really hard path. It's like you're going to have to get back to your feet a lot.
Mind you, Volko is the fittest man alive.
He's so fit. He's so good at doing it.
And
I'm not saying he couldn't do it. I'm just saying if
I think he matches up okay on both of them.
Yeah, but if it's path to victory, if we just go path to victory, I think it's an easier path to victory for Volko against Charles because he'll definitely hit him.
Yeah, and
he could finish him, and he'll go for the 5 rounds. And Brian Ortega, awesome submission artist, really hard to submit Volk. I don't think he's ever been submitted.
And he's only lost one fight.
He's lost one fight.
Welterweight.
Yeah.
Hard to hold down, and I think Charles will struggle more than Islam to hold him down. It would basically be 5 rounds of smothering from Islam to beat him, and I think Charles, I don't think could do that to him.
No.
And
so interesting though that if anything happens, Volko's just in.
Yeah.
Could be double champ. That's crazy.
And the good thing is Charles doesn't probably know who he is because of his.
Yeah, Charles. Well, who am I fighting? No idea.
Yeah. And that story is from Jack Will warming up at the back or doing a training session at Contender, and there were some of the Brazilians there from that management group, and they said, "Oh, where are you from?" And we said, "Australia." And the guy goes, "Oh, you're going to be like the first Australian,
you first ever Australian in the UFC." Like,
no. I'm like the current champ, featherweight champ, and I went like Alex Volkanovski, and the guy goes, "Yeah, I don't know who that is."
Robert Whittaker, former middleweight champ.
Yeah, no.
Just genuinely like blanked it. Like
I don't know if it was my mumbly English or whatever, but that was Charles' manager.
That was just.
But I was like, this guy. Then I think I literally was like Google imaging you, like this guy, like what? And he's like, Because it's actually like, I'm like, is this guy trying to like...
Yeah. He was just taking a piss. It was just a big joke.
Yeah. I was
We were like, fuck, they got us.
yeah.
He's-
It was the weirdest thing.
He went up to the hotel room and said, "Oh, I was telling this cunt this."
Yeah. So,
Fuck.
anyway.
And then I'm again here. Yarn versus O'Malley. I'm on O'Malley.
Oh, I just don't. I think it's a great fight. I think it's good for O'Malley because it's kind of like that nothing to lose one.
Yes.
Like, you know, it's such a big jump up.
And immediate title shot if you win.
Yeah.
And it's a huge pay-per-view.
And it is, this is very Conor McGregor rise, like in terms of, you know, 4 or 5 fights.
And stylistically, they're looking after him. Like, Yarn, it's 3 rounds. It's not 5. So they didn't put it on a main event anywhere where he has to go 5 rounds. It's 3 rounds. Yarn, tight guard, smaller stature than O'Malley. So O'Malley only needs to keep him on the outside and hit shots for 2 rounds.
Yep.
And then survive the 3rd, and he wins.
Yep.
Right? And I'm not saying he's going to try and do that, but his chance of being able to do that is fairly high. Whereas if you go, who else is in that top division? Like even Aljo versus O'Malley, you've got to keep him off your back for 5 rounds.
Yep.
It's so hard. So stylistically, I don't hate that fight for O'Malley, and I'm happy to be with him as the underdog.
Yes. Yeah, I just don't look. I don't know how good. You don't know.
Yeah, what's his ceiling? We haven't seen it.
I mean, Marlon Vera, is that the only ranked opponent?
Yeah, but even that fight, like, can we pull up the highlights from that, Josh? Because even that fight, my memory might be foggy on it, but from my memory, he was piecing Cheeto up. And then Cheeto hit him with a hard leg kick, and his foot went. So it's like...
Saying that, though, Vieira's, that's his fight.
Yeah.
Like, that's his sort of, you know, he's a slow starter.
Yeah.
Because even against Dominic Cruz, he was getting outworked early, and then... Was that the one? No.
Yeah, it's dead.
Yeah. Well, he's still poker facing. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Did he? What was the actual leg injury?
I don't know. I don't know if he broke it or if it was just like dead. The nerves just went on him.
Forgot how early in the fight it happened.
Yeah. That was... I remember thinking, like... I was thinking to myself, if he can get to the stool, he'll be all right. Because if he can just get some work into it, like, it'll be all right. And then when he got on top, he just postured up and landed the fucking biggest elbow I've ever seen. And I thought, this is probably done.
Yeah. That's a shitty way to go out, actually. I had forgotten exactly.
Like, look at the kick. It was so innocuous. He was in the opposite stance. He had his right leg forward.
Yeah.
And he just tapped it. Yeah. But that was it.
So it obviously wasn't the force of the kick because that was actually on the thigh too.
It was there. It was on the knee. Go back a sec.
Take it back 30 seconds. I reckon that landed higher.
No, it was right here. Right on those nerves. 100%. Look, you can see here. See? His foot's not responding.
Yeah. But it did not look hard either.
Nah.
It was like foot too.
Yep.
Not shin.
Anyway, yeah, I like O'Malley for that fight.
Yeah. It'll be... Yeah, well,
I'm taking underdog.
You get the multi.
Big multi.
Well,
you don't even need to multi it. You just put him in singles.
Sure, Charles is not underdog, surely.
Charles is underdog.
Is he?
Yeah, he's paying no more than $2.
Oh, wow.
Alligator blood. See him get the win?
Oh, this is from last time.
Yeah. TJ into
Oh, it's really short.
Yeah. Same odds as TJ.
But Charles has been like underdog in nearly all his wins, hasn't he?
He wouldn't have been underdog against Chandler, would he?
I'm not sure. Maybe. Can you bring that up, like odds for previous fights? Like, it'd be hard to find, I suppose, wouldn't it? Like closing odds.
O'Malley 340. 1877. See, I just wouldn't. I'd probably just put. I'd probably just put
two of those three.
I'd just put a bet on O'Malley to start, then take my money back, and then put the rest on the others because you can't. Yeah, that's hard.
Darush.
Benil's a tough one, isn't he? Kind of just that like
He doesn't look awesome, but
perennial
he's
top
good.
10 guy.
Yeah, pretty
It says
good. though.
Gamrot. He's 21-1. What was his first 15 fights? Were they cans or?
No, not really. 18-0, 16-3, 12-3, 13-4.
9-1, 6-6, 4-2, 13-4, 12-3. No cans.
Yeah, 20-8. Like he's actually fought really good people to get to the UFC. Norman Park, he was ex-UFC, 23-5 too. Then a no contest, 9-4, 24 and
Who was his loss
24
to?
and 4.
Who was his loss to? Go up. Guran.
Don't even know. Oh, and it's a split decision loss.
Right. What's that Guram done since? Lost to Demir Islamov. That's it. When was his fight? 2022.
So
That was just recently.
split decision loss as well. Bilal Muhammad.
Sean
Actually,
Brady. That's an interesting one. Sean Brady's really good.
Yeah, I think he beats
Bilal.
Bilal. I think Bilal Muhammad's pretty good too, but geez, it's a really deep card, isn't it?
Super deep. Muhammad Makayev too.
Yep.
Volkan Oezdemir and Nikita Krylov that far down the prelims. You forget Volkan Oezdemir challenged for a light heavyweight title at one point.
Yeah. Oh, that's not the good. Jesus. It's an all-Russian 175. Is he actually related to other Nurmagomedov?
Yeah, it's his cousin. That's the one who
Good.
punched Connor in the cage.
Okay. Yeah. Go down.
And Zubair is another one who was in the cage.
Dobson. Jeez, yeah, it's pretty stacked all the way down, isn't it? Anyway.
Cool.
All right, let's go. We don't have any other things that we didn't cancel.
No.